third most important point, which is nothing other than the revision. This is the best way, or the way which worked for me the well, because one professor told me in a class and I used it, and that was the best thing that could have ever happened in my gate preparation, which is revising through the problems. Like, hear me out on this. I know the primitive or the conventional way of revision, which is none other than going through the notes, going through the PDFs and revising. Trust me, it is good, but this is better. I'll tell you the logic behind it. Okay, revision through problems is not just going to the problems, looking at the questions. It is not, the aim is not just that. Of course, the basic fundamental is that you do the problems and you revise from that. But I'll tell you why this works so well in the exam. Because if you want to revise a topic, you take 10 or 15 questions. You take 10 questions of that topic from the previous questions or from the PDF or from the DPP or any practice problems. You take 10 questions and you start to solve them. So since you have learned this topic and you know the content, you will be able to attend 2 or 3 topics. And rest of the topics you may not be able to attend because you have forgotten the equations and you have forgotten the theory. But try to recall it. Try to recall it in the exam. Try to do your maximum recalling it. And then you realize that you can recall somewhat 1 or 2 equations and you can actually solve 1 or 2 problems. And also the left out 5 problems, it will be like these problems which you know it but you couldn't do it, and you will get a feeling like you have missed out some marks in the examination, and then you are going to revise. So if you are revising in this way, you are gonna remember that like hell. Like, it's like you have written an examination but you couldn't perform well because you just forgot that. So it is a revision in that type of a level. So you're going to remember these problems, or you're going to remember these exact equations, exact theory which these questions are from, and then you go back to the topic and you revise that topic. Two things you need to be very careful is that you use the previous year questions and you use some big tough questions. So if you have done these things properly, then your revision is very good, because in the last time, along with the revision, you are attending, your ability to recall is improving, your ability to understand the questions, you're practicing, you're putting time in the most efficient way. So that is one of the best advice that I can give. The art of revision is like the best art that you can learn throughout the gate journey, because eventually you're going to use it in all of the higher studies or wherever you go. Your ability to recall a thing which you have learned will improve very highly if you use this method. So that is my third advice.